Whenever I cheat on my diet, I bloat like crazy. If you've ever experienced any of this, keep watching. I've got some answers for you. Hey, I'm Diana Gordon, and if you're interested in simple, sustainable ways to see your abs, this is the place. Go ahead and click subscribe below to make sure you get all of my new videos right when they come out. And if you want more detail on this topic, you can follow along at my blog, adventurewizblog.com, where I give you way more info on what is happening. So, today's topic, whenever I cheat on my diet, I bloat like crazy, is inspired by Alex from Dallas. She messaged me on my Instagram, and she let me know that she is a former college soccer player who has done a lot of stuff in the past and actually lost 40 pounds through yoga, but is now experiencing some things that she's stuck on. One thing, I'm just going to answer one topic in today's video. She wrote, I feel like after a couple of days, I get squishy if I start eating bad and stop working out. Whenever I cheat on my diet, I bloat like crazy. Raise your hand if you can relate. I definitely can. This is a topic that is very close to me. I was diagnosed with celiac disease in 2010. And not only could something like wheat trigger autoimmune response in my body, which causes me to bloat and go from having a six-pack to a huge watermelon belly. Let me see if I have some pics. It can also, other foods, you can have a sensitivity to other foods. With celiacs or just as a human being, that cause you to bloat when you eat too much of them. So let's start with the simple things. If you bloat after a cheat meal and it lasts for a day or two, what could be the problems? What could be simple? It could be that because you're eating different foods and a higher volume of them, you're getting less water and more salt. If you get a lot more salt in your diet at one time, you're going to retain water. That's how it works. In the cells of your body, the more salt you have, the more water you're able to maintain. And if you're not getting enough water to flush it through, you're going to hold on to it. Maybe you're not getting as much exercise. Exercise actually helps us shed extra water. So could be a little culprit right there. Another thing is you're not getting enough fiber. Fiber helps move food through us. So on your cheat day, maybe you're eating foods that aren't very fibrous. So first thing you can do to attack this problem, not knowing your exact situation, is make sure on a cheat day you're drinking a ton of water before you have these cheat foods and a bunch of water afterwards, especially if you're getting more sodium. Make sure you have a bunch of fiber. Go ahead, try and eat the same volume of fiber each day. I noticed recently, even getting 25 grams of fiber a day can be hard. A simple way to do it is to get a frozen stir fry, mix a little sauce in there so it's delicious. You could use teriyaki, you could use barbecue sauce, and just heat it up and you've got a fair amount of fiber right there. Sweet potatoes have fiber, avocados an okay amount, mushrooms, beans, those type of foods. If you're not eating enough of those, go ahead and add some in. Magnesium, oddly enough, can actually help. It helps your muscles relax. So with your digestive system, it can help push food through there. So let's see, did we cover everything? So fiber, water, some magnesium, also exercise. Exercise is going to be huge because as you get the blood flow going, you get your digestive system working. So taking even a brisk walk, if you know you're going to have a cheat meal, get your system going, take a 10-15 minute walk beforehand. If you eat a huge meal, do it afterwards. I would recommend, if you're going to have a big cheat meal, or you've been eating bad all day, stop eating 3 hours before bed. When you lie down, it's harder for your body to digest food. So if you eat a big meal right before bed, as you've probably figured out through common sense, you're setting yourself up to wake up with a muffin top. It's just how it works. Now we just covered the simple things. Let's move on to the more advanced. So maybe you're not only bloating, but you don't feel that good after eating certain foods or a big meal. Maybe you have flu-like symptoms. Maybe you're noticing you feel like crap all the time and you have some brain fog. These could all be signs that you have a food sensitivity. And if you feel like you do have a food sensitivity, go check with a dietitian or, check with your doctor about maybe being referred to a specialist to monitor you. I'm not a specialist here. I'm just giving you information that's helped me in my own journey. So here's the thing. With women and 70% of human beings at some time in their life experiencing a digestive disorder or just a food sensitivity, you could very well be affected. Now, what is this like? If you have a food sensitivity, it could be that just eating too much of it, too much of a certain group of foods causes your body to have these symptoms, which could be bloating, water retention, feeling terrible. Now, if you're someone that's ever gone on a fast or eaten really restricted foods for a few days and lost a ton of weight, you could definitely have a food sensitivity. I recently had a friend that told me when they cut out carbs, they feel so much better. And now I have to tell you that this is a sure sign that you have a food sensitivity, because the only foods you should ever cut out are foods that make you feel terrible. Carbs by themselves should not ever make you feel terrible. For example, if you can eat a sweet potato and feel fine, that's a carb-heavy food, and yet you go and have a bowl of popcorn and feel terrible, or let's say you have a bowl of pasta and feel terrible, your body is just telling you that certain foods do not digest well in your guts. Now, what are some of these foods? Some really common culprits are actually sugar alcohols. If you eat fake sugars, I love fake sugars, but those, for me especially, they bloat me huge. So I just am aware of it. Eat less of them. If I have a show coming up or I really want to look good, I just cut them out for a few days. But sugar alcohols are really hard for your body to digest. They're not meant to be broken down, so they sit in your digestive system and actually pull in more water. So that's something that a lot of people have trouble with. Now, if you want to swap out, if you're drinking a lot of diet soda, or it's not necessarily that those are bad for you, and they can make you feel like you're gaining weight when you're not. So if you really want to see if you're losing weight, you just cut those out for a few days. I mean, it could take a couple weeks, but you'll look a lot leaner and feel a lot better if that's something you're affected by. And you can always just replace it with fruit. Blueberries is a great fruit for something sweet that is healthy for you and digests pretty easily. Now let's talk a little bit more about other foods. So the common food sensitivities are dairy. The foods that we are able to digest are things that over history we've always eaten. So we didn't necessarily have cows in America or Asia, these other places, for a long time. So they're hard on a lot of people's digestive systems. Some people can digest milk better than others. So dairy is a first one that you could try. Eliminating wheat, obviously, is something people are hugely sensitive to. Sugar alcohols. And then there's something called FODMAPs, which are the way sugars and carbohydrates break down in your body. There's a whole bunch of different FODMAPs, and I will go ahead and put a link down below from the University of Washington School of Medicine on FODMAPs and then on these other food sensitivities that you can attack with an elimination diet. So I know I'm getting into a lot here. Like I said, follow the blog if you want more information. I'll put everything in there about food sensitivities and FODMAPs. But the truth is, if you find yourself feeling terrible after eating a meal, that's an issue. It just means maybe your gut bacteria is bad, maybe your digestion is not working correctly. But this does have to do with your eating habits and lifestyle. One of the quickest ways to manage this is to change your routine. Try and don't eat for 5 hours between meals. It's really not that long. You might feel hungry for an hour, but your body gets over it. Maybe if you eat at 7, go ahead and eat at noon, and then eat at 5 p.m. again. And get into that routine so your digestive system is working at the same time. That could help a lot with your bloating. So I know, real quick covering here of the food sensitivities. If you do have a ton of food sensitivities and you are sure that certain foods are affecting you, you need to try an elimination diet. I'll put that on adventurewizblog.com. You can read all about it. I'll also link that University of Washington study below to check out. Go ahead and drop me a comment if there's anything you want me to follow up on this topic. I know I covered a lot really briefly. I just meant to touch on the subject. Because if you are bloating whenever you have a cheat meal, there are ways to fix that. So like this video, leave me a comment, and I will talk to you soon.